Okay, hello everybody. We are from Group 1 and we would like to present our material about Romanticism era. But before we continue our presentation, I would like to share my screen first. Okay, let me just... Okay. So as I said before, we are from Hunger Games, the first group, and I would like to introduce you to our members. The first one is me, Sufina Zahra Rambe, Fathia Naziva, Hasanah Lubis, Dian marisa, Relly Manalu, Pinta Ria Dewanti Zai, Nazirotun Nikmah, Najmi Firdaus Pasaribu, Elsa Aprianti, and Ahmad Huzairi. So without further ado, let's dive in. For the first presenter, the time is yours.
Explain about Romanticism, first wave. So, first wave Romanticism is the initial phase of Romanticism movement that emerged in the late 18th century, around the 1780s to early 18,000, and first in Europe, especially in England and Germany. This movement was a reaction to the dominance of reason and logic in the Enlightenment era, as well as the impact of the Industrial Revolution, which was considered to ignore human progress. The first wave of Romanticism emphasized in the importance of imagination, individual freedom, and spiritual connection with nature. The movement also reflected interest in the past, especially in the Middle Ages, and brought supernatural mysteries and sublime elements to literature and art. First wave Romanticism became an important foundation in the development of modern literature by opening up space for the expression of deep feelings and a more personalist view of the world. Next slide will be explained by Prana.
Okay, in this part I will explain the example for the Romanticism first wave. The first example, we took the lyric ballads 17 and 18, 1908. That lyric ballads 1788 by William Wordsworth and Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Lyric ballads is considered a pioneering work of the first wave of Romanticism in England. This book was first published in 1798 and became an important milestone in the shift from neoclassical to romantic literary styles. Emphasis emotion, imagination, nature, and common human experience, contrary to the right and rational neoclassical literature. One of famous form tinted away by Wordsworth. The next slide, please.
The High Romanticism refers to the second wave of an artistic, literary, and intellectual movement that began in 1805 to the 1830s. Many writings from this time were based on the author's personal experience and showed strong emotional expressions of the soul. So during the Romantic period, novels grew in popularity and became one of the major sources of entertainment, especially writings with Gothic style. The Gothic novel combines the intense emotions of terror, fear, and even with love or supernatural and mysterious elements of life. Furthermore, some writers began to include feminist themes, showing the struggle of women. An example of famous authors from this period includes Lord Byron, Percy Shelley, and John Keats. The next slide will be explained by my friend.
Okay, thank you, Uswa. So here I will explain an example of high romanticism. So the example for high romanticism is She Walks in Beauty, 1814, by Lord Byron. So this film portrays a woman's beauty in both a physical and spiritual sense. Byron doesn't just focus on her outer appearance, but also highlights the inner beauty that shines through her calmness and grace. He used natural imagery like a night of cloudless climes and starry skies to describe her, which is typical of romantic poetry that often connects human emotions with nature. The tone of the poem is gentle and full of admiration, reflection, and deep personal emotions, which is a key characteristic of high romanticism. And next slide will explain by my friends.
Okay, so I will be explaining about the late romanticism definition. Late romanticism, the final chapter of Western European romanticism, began from 1718 until 1830. The late romantic movement was chiefly a blend of romantic ideas with other styles such as realism, impressionism, and symbolism. Authors of the period had also known to include issues ranging from transcendentalism to dark romanticism in their writing. Consequently, most of their work had depicted a somewhat medieval atmosphere with a bitter, gloomy, and ironic characterism for sole purpose of reflecting the artists and issues of mortality. Next slide, please. The characterism of late romanticism or third wave is deep and melancholic and often dark or tragic feeling, becoming the main theme. Second is more focused on the inner world or moral conflict and struggle of the human soul. Third, interest in death, destruction, and eternity became more dominant in the writing. Fourth is the influence of mystical and symbolism. And finally, a large and complex orchestra in music. Next slide will be explained by my friend.
Okay, thank you, Tia. I will be explaining about the literary works from late Romanticism. Here we chose Les Miserables as the work. The picture on the left side is the book cover and the picture on the right side is the movie poster. So Les Miserables is a novel written by Victor Hugo that was firstly released in 1862 and later it became popular in pop culture and became musicals and a movie. This story explores the darker themes like social injustice, redemption, and also love. This novel is set in 19th century in France that critiques about the robbery, wealth distribution, and justice system as the dark impact of the French Revolution. This is why this movie suits to be the perfect example for late Romanticism literary works. Slide please. Okay, for another example, we got here Hunger Games, a very popular film. Hunger Games are a series of young adult dystopian novels written by Suzanne Collins. The first novel was released in 2008. The Hunger Games universe is a dystopia set in Panem, North American country consisting of wealthy capital and 13 districts in varying states of poverty. The Hunger Games shows late Romanticism through Katniss' fight against the Capitol, her emotional struggles, and her bond with the nature. It focuses on individualism, sacrifice, love, with Katniss becoming the symbol of rebellion, like a romantic hero standing up to oppression. Next slide, please. And the last example for late Romanticism literary work is the Corsair. The Corsair was released in 1814. This is a long tale in verse written by Lord Byron and published by John Moore, London. It was extremely popular, selling 10,000 copies on its first day sale and was influential throughout the centuries, inspiring music and ballet. The 180 pages work was dedicated to Irish poet Thomas Moore. The Corsair is a late romantic poem because it focuses on rebellious and morally complex hero and challenges social norms, all in dark, dramatic, and passionate style that was typical of Byron and the late romantic era. Next slide will be explained by my friend Dian.
Okay, I will be explain the conclusion. In conclusion, Romanticism progressed through three waves, each reflecting the changing spirit of the times. The first wave reacted against Enlightenment, rationalism, and the Industrial Revolution, highlighting emotion, imagination, individual freedom, and nature, as seen in works like Songs of Innocence and Experience and lyrical ballads. The high Romanticism has brought deeper personal expression, intense emotion, and Gothic elements, with writers like Lord Byron exploring beauty, mystery, and inner feelings. Finally, late Romanticism combined romantic ideals with realism and symbolism, focusing on darker, melancholic themes like mortality, moral conflict, and social justice, as reflected in Les Miserables and even modern works like The Hunger Games. Okay, that's all. Back to the moderator.
Okay, everyone, after we heard all of the explanation, now I am opening the question and answer session. Please raise your hand if you have any questions for us. Yes, Gio.
Okay, I'm Giovanni from Group 3. I would like to ask, how does She Walks in Beauty explore the idea of idealized beauty? And in what ways does it critique or embrace this romantic concept? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gio, for the question. Is there any more question?
I have a question.
Yes, Nidu.
Okay, first of all, thank you so much for your great presentation. That was such a great presentation. So, I have a question for you guys. My question is, in Les Miserables, how does Hugo's portrayal of characters and events reflect the romantic belief in the possibility of social change and reform? That's my question.
All right, thank you, Midu, and for other audience too, please give us some minutes to think about the answer and we'll be right back.
Okay, I will answer the question from Gio. The first question: how does She Walks in Beauty explore the idea of idealized beauty? And what says does it critique or embrace the romantic concept? She Walks in Beauty explore the idea of idealized beauty by presenting a woman whose physical and inner beauty seem flawless, almost otherworldly. Byron described her with a sense of admiration and reverence, focusing on the harmony between her appearance and her inner qualities such as calmness and grace. This idealized beauty aligns with the romantic notion that beauty transcends physically and is a reflection of deeper spiritual or moral purity. Is that clear, Gio?
That's clear, Huzairi. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And then the second question from Meduk. So the answer is in Les Miserables, Victor Hugo explores the romantic belief in social reform through the characters like Jean Valjean, who undergoes a personal transformation from a hardened criminal to a compassionate man. Hugo critiques the injustice of the class system, the legal system, and social inequality, suggesting that true reform comes through empathy and collective action by showing both personal and societal struggle. Hugo reflects the romantic ideal that change is possible, but also highlights the challenge of achieving lasting reform in a corrupt system. Is that clear, Meduk?
Yes, that's clear. Thank you.
Thank you. Back to moderator.
All right, thank you, Huzairi, for the answers. And I would like to thank all of the audience for their attention to our presentation. We are very sorry if we said something inconvenient to you, and thank you for your attention. Good day, everybody.